What's up guys, Dave here from Knives, Gadgets, and More, and today we're going to review a knife. Alright guys, so as you can see here we have the CRKT M16. And this knife comes in several different variations. We'll talk about this one and about some of the other types that you can get in this review. And we're also going to go through the main features of it, what it offers you, and that way you'll be able to determine whether or not it's a knife that will work for you. So to start off, we're going to do story time. This is a knife that I never intended to buy. Obviously I did buy it. And it's also a broken knife that I think is awesome. So first of all, I never intended to buy this knife. I forget what year it was years ago, but it was Black Friday and I went to a Big Five and I went there to buy a gun, a Mosin Nagant. This is back when they were like $120, and I did buy that gun. But as I was waiting in line, by the way, I do have a gun channel, link will be below if you are interested in guns. But anyway, as I was in line, there was a dude in front of me and the sales guy was talking to him and he was trying to convince him to buy this knife. And the sales guy took this out of his pocket. He was showing it to him and giving him all the specs, telling him everything about it. And I was just watching. And I have no idea if that guy ended up buying this knife because I didn't stick around long enough. But the sales guy sold me on it, and when I got home I went on Amazon and I ordered it. Now I also told you that this knife is broken. It is, and I don't really count that as a fault of this knife. I count it as my own fault for using it for things that it's really not rated for. I've used this thing on really heavy-duty tasks, not just opening boxes, but chopping them up, cutting all sorts of things with it. And it is still functional, but it is a little bit broken, and I'll tell you how it's broken in a little bit later in this review. Now, the first feature I want to talk about is the blade steel. The blade steel on this particular model, the M1601KZ, is 8CR13 MOV, which is a Chinese steel, and it's okay. It's okay for a budget knife, and this was definitely an affordable version of this knife, and I think that blade steel is appropriate for the price point that this one came in at. Now you can get these knives with better steel than that, but as a budget steel I think it's perfectly okay. And even though I have used this knife pretty heavily, the blade has held an edge well, and yeah, it's done a great job. Next, let's talk about the blade shape. So the blade on this knife is a spear point, and I think it looks awesome. It's one of the things that first draw me to it. When I saw that salesman showing it to the other dude, I was like, whoa, that is a cool looking, sleek little blade. And I still think that when I'm looking at it right now. I think it looks great. It looks really cool. That spear point is awesome. And the cool thing about the M16 line from CRKT is that there are so many variations of this knife. I mean, you can get it with the spear point, you can get it with the Tonto blade, you can get it with other types of blades, serrations. There really are a lot of options. But for me, this is definitely my favorite version, and I really love how sleek it looks. Now the blade does have I think it's a black oxide finish. It wears really well. You can see it's kind of worn a little bit, and again, I've used this knife pretty heavily, so the fact that it's still holding up is a good sign of the durability of that finish in my mind. It has a hollow grind, and right out of the box it comes to you pretty sharp, so no need to sharpen it before you start carrying it around. Now the next thing I want to talk about are the handles, the scales, and you can see they're blacked out here. It's black on black on black with this knife, which I think is cool. But it has holes that reduce the weight of the knife. They look cool, they look visually appealing to me, and they are comfortable. The material of the scales is a glass reinforced nylon, and holding the knife is very comfortable. No hot spots, the handle feels good, there is a little bit of jimping up here, and you have the clip, which even as you're holding it is still comfortable. Now as for the locking mechanism, if you look down here you see how the blade locks out, and if you don't know what this is called, it's called a liner lock, and you have this piece of metal here pushing up against the blade and locking it out. But the unique thing about this particular version of the M16 is that it has that little red thing right there, and that's actually a safety. So you're not supposed to be able to close the blade unless you first lower the safety and then move the liner lock over, and then you can close it. The problem is on this one, I broke it. So when it deploys, it's not as smooth as it used to be. And even though by habit I always lower the safety first before closing it, it doesn't work anymore. So I can turn it over and still close the blade. And the blade is also off center. And again, that's just because I kind of misused this knife. It's not built to handle all the heavy cutting that I was doing with it. I did used to carry this knife all the time, and I used it for everything. So it is broken. That safety right there is broken because it will close without lowering it. But I still think it's a really cool feature. I think these knives have pretty good warranties, so I might see if CRKT will repair it, or I just might buy a new one. Because like I said, this version is a pretty affordable knife. Now as for the clip, you can see right here, there are supposed to be 3 screws holding it on. I'm missing one, again because I used this knife quite a bit. It sets you up for tip down carry, and it doesn't look like you can switch it to tip up carry, and that's fine for me because as you know by now, if you've watched my videos, I like both tip up and tip down carry. It doesn't matter to me, and it doesn't look like it's reversible either. So in terms of clip, you've got just that one option, it looks like to me. Now I do want to show you what this knife looks like in the pocket, so let's do that next. Okay, so obviously this is not a deep carry clip. I would prefer if it was. I always prefer deep carry clips over just the standard clips. But that being said, not a lot of this knife sticks out, just a little bit there. It is a super comfortable knife to carry around because it's very lightweight and slim and sleek, and even though a little bit of it sticks out, it's not really a big deal to me. Maybe that's something you prefer, you want a little bit of it to stick out. But what I can tell you is that I've carried this knife a ton over the years, and it's very easy to carry, very lightweight, and very convenient. Alright, the next thing we'll do is take a look at the size of this knife. So it is a slim knife, it is a delicate knife, but it's not super tiny. So here is my quarter to give you a reference in relation to that. And let's take out the tape measure and see what we get. Alright guys, so it looks like an overall length of about 7 inches. Blade length, maybe 3 inches. In terms of width, less than an inch there. Pretty slim blade on the spear point. But like I told you, I've carried this knife around a ton, and it is very easy. It's very lightweight. I don't have a scale with me, otherwise I'd put it on a scale for you, but it's very lightweight, and it's super easy to carry around in your pocket all day. Alright guys, so to sum it all up, some of the things that I like about the CRKT M16 are, I love the blade shape, first of all, on the spear point one. I also like the tantos a lot. Those are really cool, but I think I prefer the spear points just in terms of looks. I think they look really awesome. I like that the blade has a durable finish, which over the years I have tested and found that to be the case. I like the handle design. The material is very comfortable. and it's also lightweight, and the way it's shaped is ergonomic, and you've got a little bit of jimping up there, so the handle is good. I do like the concept of the liner lock with a safety. I just think it's a cool feature. Yes, mine broke, but that's because I just beat the crap out of this knife and carried it around and used it so much. I liked the deployment of this knife before I broke it. It was a lot smoother then, and that's the way it would be if you picked one up and didn't break it. And I really love how lightweight and easy this knife is to carry around. Could this knife be improved? Well, for the price I think it's pretty good, but I do wish mine didn't break. But honestly, I don't really consider that a fault of this design. I think it's a very good design, as long as you keep it limited to those light tasks and don't abuse it like I did. So in the end, I am happy that I bought this knife, even though it broke. I think it's an awesome blade in terms of looks, fit and finish, and the way it functions. And if you're looking at picking one up, I think you'll be very happy with it. Now, if you do want to pick one of these up, I will leave a link in the description below. It is an affiliate link, and it does help out the channel. Other than that, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video. See ya!